8th of September, Rabbi Levitt, Pele, Yoetz.
Okay, let's see where we got up to today. Where we got up to yesterday. Start from today on page 93. We're in this entry of Mishpat V'Din. And the paragraph starts, my opinion. Okay, we call upon Mayor to start our learning today.
Okay, good. Got it. Okay, it says, my opinion has already been stated regarding the evil of a city that does not have a rabbinical leader. They walk in darkness and no light shines upon them. Therefore, even if they have not succeeded in appointing a rabbinical leader, they should not refrain from designating a chazan or teacher who knows how to learn, is familiar with some of the laws of the permitted and prohibited, and who is capable of teaching the works of moral perfection in order that they should not be like blind men who walk in darkness, heaven forbid. The community members must be respectful of his honor, since he is like a rose among the thorns. In a place of blind men, a person who has one eye that can see needs to be revered. All the more so, the members of the community need to be careful in regard to the honor of a rabbinical leader, whether because of his being a Torah scholar or because of his being a judge.
Okay. Very good. So we'll go to the next paragraph. Statement of our sages. We go to Roy to continue. We're looking for, oh, yes, well, Alan is here.
Yes,
okay. Okay.
I just wanted to ask if such a person is there, or such a person anyway, doesn't, just such a person, if he's not in such a position, but has those qualities, even though they're limited, should he not be also revered in because of what he's got? I suppose in other words, we should revere any person who's got any qualities that would put him in such a position if he was there.
Well, the Pele says that in the absence of them, right there, the obligation is upon the city, and that devolves upon the leaders of the city to appoint someone who could be the judge or the rabbinical leader, or if they have two positions, whatever it is. But if they don't have, he says in any case they should have someone who has some type of knowledge, and he says that in a place of blind men, a person who has one eye that can see needs to be revered. So that I understand from that the such a person like you're talking about, if he meets some of the qualifications, also the obligation is to retain him and ask him to 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 be in a place of authority and leadership, and that he, of course, has to be revered if he's in that position.
Yeah, I actually wasn't asking that. I was asking whether, regardless of where, say he's in a city that's already set up very nicely.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got some of these qualifications. So just because he's not in a position of authority, elected to be in a position of authority, nonetheless,
Yeah.
shouldn't he be given some sort of honor, sort of revered in some sort of way? Which means that we should be careful and revere all the scholars and so on, and all the ordinary people who've got some knowledge.
Don't we have an
Okay, but
example of a Vilna Gaon? Wasn't he, isn't it true that he was not the Rav of the community?
I don't know the history of the Vilna Gaon. He was the Rav, he wasn't the Rav, but the Lamaisa, when there's countless stories of people seeking his counsel, and his counsel was he had tremendous regard in the I don't know, and as far as the question of, don't you also need to give honor to a Torah scholar even if he doesn't have an official position? Of course, but here we're talking about there's a special mitzvah to honor this person because he is in a position of official leadership. This is what the Pele Yoetz is emphasizing over here.
Okay.
There's not going to be a proper regard for this person who's in a position of leadership. The city is in danger. That's not true of just a stam Talmid Chacham who doesn't have an official position. It's a different it's a different issue.
Okay.
The well-being of the city doesn't depend upon people honoring a Talmid Chacham that doesn't have a official position.
Okay.
That's why he's emphasizing this over here. Very much so.
All right, thanks. All right, the statement of our sages in Sanhedrin: someone who disgraces his friend in the presence of a Torah scholar is called a heretic, is well known. Unlike the plague that has spread today, that people who are in court shamelessly blaspheme and curse each other in the presence of the judge, would that these people not disgrace the judge when they are found guilty, or when he admonishes them for the evil they have done. They do this because the way of a foolish man is straight in his eyes. He is smarter in his own eyes than the wise judge, and he thinks that the judge has treated him incorrectly and unlawfully. Woe to the generation that experiences this phenomenon. The saying of our sages in Yalkut and Reish Rut is well known on the verse in Rut 1:1, and it was in the days that the judges judged. Woe unto the days when people judge their judges, which is followed by, and there was a famine in the land. Heaven should save us. Even if common merchants were appointed judges, one needs to be careful in their honor, for even the person who supervises a well is appointed by heaven. That's in Baba Batra 91b. And the divine presence rests upon three people who sit in judgment. It's in Barachas. And it is written in Tehillim 82:1, in the midst of judges, he will judge. According to the law, the status of these common judges is the same as that of Torah scholars. Therefore, one who disgraces them is considered as one who disgraces Torah scholars as it is explicated in the halachic decisions. Regarding such people, it says in Shmuel, and those who disgrace me, that's Hashem, will be cursed. Regarding one who honors them, it says in the same place, I honor those who honor me.
So there, he's saying that even, in other words, it's not his knowledge or his stature as a Torah scholar which ends reverence and respect, but it's his position as a judge. So even if the city appoints ordinary people, ordinary common merchants are appointed as judges, we need to be careful in their honor. So again, he's continuing to emphasize the honor that needs to be given to people who have been put in a position of authority. He even says that this is mina shamayim. Even a person who has supervises a well is appointed by heaven. So this is the whole theme of what he's been saying over here. There has to be respect for people who are in a position of authority and who are who have been appointed to be judges, regardless of their actual Torah knowledge. That would be another reason to respect them. But this is okay.
I'm wondering about this first statement in this paragraph. If he disgraces his friend in the presence of a Torah scholar, he's called a heretic. That I don't know what the word for heretic is.
Apicorus.
Apicorus. That doesn't seem to be. I mean, I can understand that he's saying that's a terrible thing, but a heretic is a specific thing that says he doesn't believe in the Torah. That he's an apicorus is somebody who knows the Torah and denies it. How is that the appropriate classification for a person who disgraces somebody in front of a Torah scholar?
Did you define heretic?
He's an apicorus. Okay, let's take a look in the Gemara, because the Pele Yoetz is not saying this on his own. This is what the Gemara says. So we'll take a look in the Gemara. This Gemara in Sanhedrin 99b.
Okay.
Sanhedrin. Okay, 1 second. Okay.
Okay, this is in It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines from the bottom of the page on 99b. And the subject over here is Apikoros. And this goes back to the Rav, the Rebbe Hanina, Amrit Travayu, both of them say, who is an Apikoros? This is someone who disgraces a Torah scholar. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Omrei, Hamavaz lechavero bifnei Talmud Chacham. They say it refers. They don't argue on the first statement that someone who directly disgraces a Torah scholar is deemed an Apikoros, but also someone who disgraces another person while a Talmud Chacham is standing right there is also called an Apikoros. Oh, then the Gemara goes into a discussion over here, actually. Let's see if we have any comments on this page so far. So we okay, there's no Rashi on this. Okay, so really the first thing I guess we should do is define what is an Apikoros. And
There's a lengthy footnote that defines Apikoros.
yeah, what's it say?
Which
Yad Ramah notes that the word Apikoros is related to the word Hefker. For this person has declared himself free of the Torah's strictures. See the Maharsha. See Aruch. Rambam writes that an Apikoros is one who denigrates the Torah or Torah scholars. Hence, Apikoros is a general term for not believing in any of the fundamentals of Torah or for any manner of denigrating a Torah scholar. Rashi here and to Moed Katan 16a and Eruvin 63a defines it as disrespect.
which footnote is that?
It's footnote 47 on 99b4.
Oh, 40.
47? Because there's another one similar to that.
And then there's another footnote 948, which says denigrating any individual in the presence of a Torah scholar is, in fact, an act of disrespect for the Torah scholar himself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the focus here is on this idea of disrespect.
Well, the focus is on the disrespect of what?
Disrespect either of the Torah scholar or of the Torah itself.
Like we said before, the drasha says, "Es Hashem Elokecha tira." You should have reverence for Hashem. And the word "es," Rabbi Akiva darshan, is coming to include. That's the klal. When the Torah says "es," it's coming to include something other than Hashem. Rabbi Akiva felt it was appropriate to darshan that it comes to include Torah scholars, because to denigrate a Torah scholar is tantamount to denigrating Hashem.
Right.
So really, the denigration goes right back to Hashem. And someone who shows, and what is hefkeris? Hefker means that there's no rules. Hefker doesn't have an owner, right? Be mafker something is hefker. It's free for everybody to come and take it. They could do as they wish with it. It can belong to them. There's no owner. There's no master. That's what hefker is, and that's what an apikoros, the Yad Ramah is explaining, comes from the word hefker, apikoros. So he says this apikoros acts in such a way as to say there is no master. The world is hefker. It has no master. That's an apikoros.
I actually thought apikoros was a Greek word.
Interesting, yeah, that's interesting. So you see that the Greek words are based upon Lashon HaKodesh.
Right. They have to be.
Right? That was the first language. And all the languages came after that.
Of course. Right.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So, and maybe we need to say one more sentence over here just to finish the thought. Is it clear to us that to denigrate a Torah scholar, that represents denigration of Hashem?
Yes.
And it also is going to follow over here, according to what the Amoraim are telling us, that someone who disgraces another person in the presence of a Torah scholar, he's also in the same category of being an apikoros, one who denigrates Hashem. Now, the question is over here, what is it that puts him in the same category as one who denigrates a Talmud Chacham?
We're all in the image of Hashem, whether we're a Talmud Chacham or looking after a well or sitting on a judge's chair.
Okay, so if that be the case, so then they should have said anyone who denigrates his friend is an apikoros.
Denigrate anybody.
It's interesting that it doesn't say that.
Ah.
All it says is someone who denigrates his friend in the presence of a Torah scholar is deemed to be an apikoros. Someone who denigrates his friend, okay, he has bad midos. He's acting highly improperly. But to act in such a highly inappropriate fashion in front of a Torah scholar is tantamount to doing such a thing right in front of Hashem.
Well, the judge represents Hashem. He gives judgment according to Hashem's law, guidance.
Right.
He's a representative of a shaliach.
Okay. Okay. Here we're talking not necessarily about a judge, but we're talking about a Torah scholar.
So a Torah scholar is the same thing. He's imbibing the word of the laws, the word, the lifestyle of Hashem. He represents all that Hashem has given us. Well,
See, it's interesting because in this whole section over here, he seems to be mixing these two ideas. The idea of there's an idea of giving respect to someone simply because he is a judge, regardless of his Torah knowledge, even a person who's a common merchant. He's in a position of authority. People have to respect him in order for there to be a properly functioning community. And then he's mixing that also. He's also, so it would seem like that's his main theme. That's the entry over here that we're talking about. We're talking here about the subject of mishpat and din. But he's also adding a different idea, really. It's related, but it's different. And that is that someone, simply because he is a Torah scholar, and this is what you pointed out before, simply because he is a Torah scholar, even if he has no official position, he's not involved in even in the running of the community in any way. He's not asked any questions by the leaders of the city. What should we do? What should we do? They have other Talmidei Chachamim that they speak to. But this one, let's say he doesn't ask. They don't ask this one. So the only hat that he's wearing is the hat of a Talmid Chacham. That's the Gemara here in the Sanhedrin that he's bringing over here. That someone, even if he doesn't say anything against the Talmid Chacham, he's not directly talking to the Talmid, doing anything directly to the Talmid Chacham, but he's simply he's acting improperly, highly improperly, towards another person in the presence of this Talmid Chacham. The Gemara is saying he is called an Apikoros also. And I believe that the common thread between these two themes is the idea of Apikoros, because what we're saying over here, what Lou read from the Yad Ramah, is that the point of an Apikoros is, he says there is no master. And that's a very dangerous idea. And that is what needs to be put down.
In other words, by acting disrespectfully in the presence, it's as if he was saying, this Talmid Chacham is nobody special. He's no different from anybody else.
There's no authority anywhere. There's no Hashem. He's a representation of Hashem standing right there, in a certain sense. One has to have yira. Rabbi Kiva says one has to have yira for a Talmid Chacham. Also, not only for Hashem, he has to have yira for a Talmid Chacham as well. And so, someone who acts in such a disgraceful fashion and is mavaza another person in front of this Talmid Chacham is denying. He's not showing any reverence for this Talmud Chacham, and he's showing a total disregard, as though he's not. It's though he's not there. It's as though he's not there, and that's really the height of lack of honor for a person to say that he's not there. And that's like saying, and we bring it back to Hashem as well with this comparison that we've made. Es Hashem Elokecha Tira. So that's the common thread, I think, between these two things. People in a position of authority and people who represent Hashem, who is the ultimate authority. They are denying the existence of authority. They are denying the existence of Malchus and dominion in the world. That's an apikoros. Everything is hefker. Okay. Okay, a round of applause for page 93.
Okay.
All right, now we go to who's up next for reading is Alan.
So 94.
94. It is the responsibility.
The responsibility of all of the members of the community not to assist wrongdoers, even regarding one's father and mother. He must say, "I have not seen him." Devarim 33:9. One must not show a deference to his brothers, nor show kinship to his children, even if it seems to him that the judges crossed the line of fairness and rendered a flawed judgment. Such a thought must not be heard from his mouth to them. Heaven forbid. Rather, one must discipline with his lips, admonish them, and say, whatever the judge or arbitrator has done is desired and acceptable upon us. We have only the judge in our days. We must listen to him, for he only does that which Hashem has put into his mind, and judgment that ultimately belongs to Hashem. If the members of the community do not support the hands of their judges and leaders, it is considered their sin. They are the ones who cause the city to be destroyed. Heaven forbid. However, if they stand by the side of the judges in order to establish their decisions with full authority, such that no one violates their rulings, the city will be successfully due to the blessing of Hashem. Give the fruits of its hands unto the city, and let it be praised in the gates by its actions. Based on Mishlei.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting what the Pele Yoetz says that a person has to do, even if he says that a judge crossed the lines of fairness and rendered a flawed judgment. This is not a correct judgment that the judge has made. There's not an issue about this. We're talking about a case where the judge crossed the lines of fairness and rendered a flawed judgment. I'm not going to look in the Hebrew right now. I'm going to take the translator's word for it, that he translated the words correctly. And even if this judge did such a thing to his brother, to his son, what does the brother, what does the father have to say to his son, to his own brother, about what the judge did? We might have thought to say, oh, I really agree with you. I mean, I feel for you. The judge, he mamish made a mistake. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this treatment. You don't deserve this decision. And that would assuage the feelings of hurt of the son, of the brother. That's what one would think. That has to be said. To empathize, sympathize, and validate the feelings of the relative. But what does the Pele Yoetz say? He doesn't say that one has to say that what the judge said was correct. That would be a sheker. And it would not be appropriate. He says you have to say whatever the judge or arbitrator has done is desired and acceptable upon us. We have to accept his decision. He's the judge that we have, and he's the one that we have to listen to. And why is that? He made a mistake over here. Pele Yoetz is saying he made a mistake. He crossed the lines of fairness. It's not a fair decision. Because this goes back to what the pasuk that the Pele Yoetz quoted from Tehillim, that we say on Yom Shlishi. Every Yom Shlishi we say this pasuk. It's the Shir Shal Yom Shlishi, that Hashem sits in the assembly of the judges, and He is the one who guides them to make the decision that they make. And this is what the Pele Yoetz is pointing out over here. Oh, for he, meaning the judge, has to be listened to, because he only does what Hashem has put into his mind. Incredible. And judgment ultimately belongs to Hashem. The judgment that, even though the judgment is not fair, it wasn't the correct judgment. But was there a mistake that happened over here? Was this something that shouldn't have happened? Something went wrong over here. Something got out of control. That we can't say. So ultimately, this is a lesson in Emunah. That if it happened, then that's the way Hashem wanted it to be. That's all we could say. And does that Hashem do thing? Okay, we're not going to get into that. That's all he says over here. The judgment ultimately belongs to Hashem. So therefore, to show protest against the decision, and to rail against the decision of the judge in this case, because it was the wrong decision, would be an incorrect thing to do. It would be showing a lack of emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the ultimate judge who sits in the assembly and is the council of the sages who are doing the judgments. Okay. This is a very, very hard one.
Rabbi, I'm not sure where you're getting the idea that the judge made a mistake. I see that it says he thinks that the judge has treated him incorrectly. But are you saying that it's
I see.
sure true that the judge was wrong?
Okay, I hear. I didn't read that carefully. You're right. Even if it seems to him. Okay, so you know what I have to say about that?
Yeah, what? I mean, no, I don't. What do you say?
Why is the Pele Yoetz saying that it seems to him that he made a wrong decision?
Because he can't be sure.
Because
If if it's up for discussion whether the judge made the correct decision or not, then I don't think the Pele Yoetz would say what he's saying over here. Judgment belongs to Hashem. He should have said, the judge made the decision. He's a Talmid Chacham. This is his judgment. You think it's wrong? That's but who has more knowledge than this judge? The judge knows. I would have thought that he would say that if it wasn't a clear matter that he made a mistake. The point over here is that even if he he's saying that whatever the judge has ruled over here has to be accepted, period. Why does whatever the judge ruled over here have to be accepted? Because because ultimately Hashem is telling him what to judge.
Let's say my friend tells me that an injustice has been done to him. And he shows me a psak din Torah where the ruling is stated clearly. And I call up the judge and ask him about the case. And the judge explains to me the nature of the ruling, and it's clear to me that the judge is incorrect. What should I do?
Oh, so now we're talking about a very interesting subject. Is there such a thing as appealing a ruling made by a Bezdin? Overturning a decision that a Bezdin made. Based upon the fact that it's a mistake. If it's a matter that is subject to discretion, it's a matter of different opinions on the matter, and the judge paskined according to these opinions. He didn't paskin according to the other opinions. See, this if we're going to say that yes, there is a process. I mean, in America, right? In most countries in the world, they have such a thing as an appeals court, because you're saying that the first court made a mistake, and you want to appeal the decision. Is there such a thing in Jewish law, in the halachas of judgment according to the Torah, that the Bezdin made a mistake, and there is an opportunity to appeal to contest the decision? Officially? Not to my knowledge. Why is that? So every decision that's made is subject to dispute. And in fact, that would seem to be the way that things would work in most secular courts. Whether you feel the decision is wrong, you've got enough money to pursue another case in the appeals court, go right ahead. The judgment of the first judge doesn't mean anything. It's got no authority whatsoever.
I don't think that's true, actually. You're talking about secular court?
Oh, you mean the next court could decide, well, we don't think that there's any basis for that. You mean the request for an appeal could be denied by the upper court. They have to make a request of the upper courts, the appeals court, and say that we believe that this decision was incorrect, and here's our reasons why. And the appeals court they have the authority on that, and they could say no, they didn't make a mistake, and we're not going to hear your case. Yeah.
No, well, that's true, but my understanding of the way it works in America is you can't appeal the decision of the judge. Just plain say, I think the judge was wrong, or I think the jury was wrong. You can't do that. What you can do is you can say, I think something was done improperly in the course of this trial, like the defense was denied a certain motion, and that their motion was valid, or there was a juror that was prejudiced and was allowed to stay on the court, or something like that.
But if the judge made but if the weight of authority could be argued that the judge made the incorrect decision, we can't appeal that and say that that really the law is not like the judge said.
I don't believe
it's not possible to appeal that.
I don't believe so.
Okay, if that's so then if that's so, then that's so, fine. So then we can understand all the more so why there's no appeal in a Besdin.
What I'm getting at is something different than that. What I'm getting at is the attitude of the member of the public who comes to the conclusion that the judge is doing something incorrect, and if he should say, well, I'm not going to believe that that's the case because of this principle of Pele Yoetz, I have to say the judge is right, no matter whether I think he's right or not. Or is it more appropriate for him to say an injustice has been done here?
It's 11:37.
Right.
Oh,
Time flies.
Yeah.
okay. To be continued. All the best to Mayor. Have a great day, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Everyone else should have a great day.
Thank
you.
you, Rabbi. Have a good
Wow.
day here.
Okay, thank you. You too, Lou.